Allegations of extortion by some axle load weighing officials.
We will refuse them some premise fuel. The logistics that they need from government to go to fishing, we will not give to them.
Also this evening, fishermen at Elmina in the Central Region sanctioned to observe the closed season for another month for engaging in illegal fishing activities during the ban.
Anti-gay bill which seeks to criminalize LGBTQ activities in the country to be laid before Parliament tomorrow, August 2.
In sports, Ghana's Olympic Games sensation Samuel Techi to face USA's Duke Reagan on Tuesday in the semi-finals of a featherweight contest.
On the international front, Myanmar's military ruler Min Aung Hlaing takes on role of Prime Minister in a newly formed caretaker government.
We have details of these stories and even more, including entertainment, if you stay with us over the next 60 minutes. Let's begin this evening from here. An angry haulage truck drivers blocked the main Kumasi-Tamale highway over allegations of extortion by some axle load weighing officials. The action created intense vehicular congestion on the stretch.
It was a tense atmosphere at Akum near Ahinkro in the Fijakwabre district when drivers of these trucks blocked the road amidst protest. The haulage truck drivers say they had been here for days because they failed to pay penalties for overloading. To their aggrieved drivers, it is an attempt by officials to extort money from them.
If you tell me, a normal tonnage, we say normal.
The goods were weighed at Tema and Nsawam, and it was normal. When we got to Kumasi, the said goods were overloaded, and we did not understand. Our leaders have said it all. We can't be working for others to reap the fruit of our labor. If government doesn't listen to us, we'll block all the roads. They showed some certificates containing details of axle loading from the Tema motorway checkpoint. The axle weighing officials would not speak to this team. The haulage drivers were still adamant on moving their trucks from the highway at the time of filing this report.
And we made effort to speak to the Roads and Highways authorities plus the Urban Roads Department officials, but they declined to comment on the matter for now. So trust that subsequently we'll be getting responses to the allegations the haulage truck drivers make for you.
And now fishermen at Elmina in the Central Region are to continue observing the closed season for another month in spite of lifting of the ban. This follows sanctions against them for engaging in illegal fishing activities as announced by the Sector Minister Mavis Hawa-Kumsin.
At a fishers' engagement in Elmina last month, Fisheries Minister Mavis Hawa-Kumsin implored them to stop engaging in illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing activities. But the fishers responded by asking the minister to retract her plea as they are not ready to stop the illegal fishing activities. According to the fishers, they had resorted to cycle and light fishing because of poor catch using the conventional fishing methods. The minister had gone to the engagement with food items to be distributed to the fishers, but they rejected the food items amid insults. At a ceremony to officially announce the end of the closed season, a fishers delegation from Elmina pleaded.
I'm standing on behalf of all the fisher folks to apologize to our mother Kumsin. What happened is unfortunate and we plead to let it be.
The the minister accepted the apology but insisted that the fishers will still be sanctioned.
They will still have to be punished. We will refuse them some premise fuel. The logistics that they need from government to go to fishing will not give to them for some time. All the landing beaches will have premise fuel, with the exception of Elmina. The trucks are on their way to the various landing beaches.
She added that anyone from Elmina who goes fishing will be arrested.
When they go to the market, they will still have issues with the enforcement unit on the sea. We said they are not going, we're still going to keep them.
The closed fishing season is the spawning period intended to replenish the fish stock.
Now, a fire outbreak ravaged a home at Moshi Zongo in Kumasi, killing 2 miners on Tuesday, July 27. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar returned to the family which lost their children and reports they are yet to come to terms with the unfortunate incident.
It's been 6 days since the Al-Hadar family lost their 2 children in a fire incident at Moshi Zongo. But the family is yet to come to terms with events of that fateful Tuesday, July 27, 2021. 2-year-old Tahir and his sister 8-month-old Salamatu were consumed by a domestic fire while sleeping. This is the 1-bedroom apartment where fire gutted and killed 2 minors. Well, let's walk through the room and see the extent of damage. Well, according to the family, this is the exact spot where the fire is reported to have started from, and the kids were just sleeping on a mattress around this place, and the fire quickly spread to the hall. But in an attempt by some tenants and neighbors to save the burning kids, they decided to break through this wall, but unfortunately, before they were able to break it, the kids were consumed by the fire.
When I entered the room, the younger child had died from burns. Her head was burnt beyond recognition, so I moved in an attempt to save the 2-year-old, but my effort was fruitless.
I am unable to sleep at night. I see the kids anytime I close my eyes.
She scrolls through the pictures on her phone whenever she misses the 2.
Anytime I remember them, I watch their pictures on my phone.
The sad incident has not only claimed the lives of the minors, but rendered the family homeless. Father of the deceased children, who prior to that fateful day has been served with an eviction notice by his landlord, now seeks shelter at a friend's place.
Since the fire incident, my wife and the remaining kids are with my mother, whilst I also seek shelter at a friend's place. I plead with the public to assist us with accommodation.
His wife and 3 of their children have moved to stay with some family members temporarily. Until they secure a decent accommodation, the Al-Hadars will have to be sheltered by family and friends. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3, Moshi Zongo.
Rather sad incident there in Kumasi. But away from that, the anti-gay bill, which seeks to criminalize LGBTQ activities in the country, is expected to be laid before Parliament tomorrow, August 2. 8 MPs led by the Ningo Pram lawmaker, Sam George, proposed a bill which enjoys a cross-party support, with the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, openly backing the proposed law.
The bill, entitled the Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021, was submitted to Parliament in June. If passed, people of the same sex who engage in sexual activity could be fined or jailed for between 3 to 5 years. The law would also make it a crime to be LGBTQ. It would be punishable by 5 years in prison for any person to identify as lesbian, gay, transgender, transsexual, queer, pansexual, or non-binary. Advocating for LGBTQ rights would also be illegal, with activists facing jail sentences of between 5 and 10 years. Ghana's law already criminalized gay sex by forbidding unnatural carnal knowledge.
Meanwhile, my colleague Della Michelle has been following the debate on this particular proposed bill, and here is a report she put together.
In reference to the practice of LGBTQ politics, the emergence of numerous Western organized NGOs and locally hybrid LGBTQ movements with significant publicity have polarized politics in many countries. Human rights group raised alarm over a crackdown on LGBTQ plus people by officials in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania in 2018. The festering sentiment about LGBTQ in Ghana is back into public discourse regarding some extreme sanctions under the Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021.
Nowhere in the history of English common law has that ridiculousness been exhibited. Nowhere. And Mr. Abdullah should show me where. Nowhere in the history of English common law have we done that. And you said that is beautiful. The foundation of our very democracy, which is about free speech, people expressing their views, expressing themselves, expressing their thoughts, people presenting contrary argument or contrary position to debate. You say this is beautiful.
The strong reservations which have created a 36-page bill to be sent to Parliament for consideration in order to criminalize the act. Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram Sam George has emphatically stated that he and his colleague anti-LGBTQ legislators are ready to debate anyone who opposes the anti-gay bill before Parliament. Speaker of Parliament Alban Sumana Bagin has also given a strong indication Ghana will not be threatened to accept LGBTQI in the country. An anti-LGBTQ bill currently before Parliament, when passed, will see corporates face a jail term of up to 10 years depending on the crime.
I sit here as the Speaker of Ghana. I represent Ghanaians and the country Ghana. We have spoken with one voice that we don't want anything to do with whatever terms they add, because there's still no end yet.
NPP stalwart Gabi Ochudakun said the new anti-gay bill will not only lead to Ghana being blacklisted for promoting hate. The latest person to wade into the debate is Ghanaian journalist Manasseh Azure, punching holes into Gabi's comment. With all these coming to bear, the broader conversation is what the country stands to lose should the Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021 be passed. A report by the World Economic Forum on the real cost of the LGBTQ discrimination indicates the cost to a country's economy can be counted in billions. According to a pilot study conducted for the World Bank, discrimination against LGBTQ people in India could be costing the country's economy up to $32 billion a year in lost economic output. Could Ghana be the next country? The debate has only begun.
And in a related development, the Dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Professor Vladimir Ntwidanso, says the passage of the Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021 will not in any way negatively affect the economy. He tells my colleague Evelyn Tingma there is no international treaty that bars Ghana from passing a law to stop gayism, as the country has the right to pass laws to promote its socio-cultural development.
The bill will have to be laid in the House, referred to the appropriate committee for consideration before members in the plenary would debate on it. It would be after the debate that its fate would be determined. Dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Professor Vladimir Ntwidanso, says though some donor countries may not be happy with Ghana, that should not stop the country from passing the bill.
I don't have to kill myself just because you feed me. The international system is such that each country will have to respect the other country's rights, rules, norms, and the way people do their things. We are not doing anything against international law. Why are they not selling this thing so strongly in Saudi Arabia, which is one of their best friends?
He insists gayism and lesbianism is a feeling and cannot be a human rights issue, and suggested persons involved in such acts should rather be helped to come out of it.
Why do you want to legalize it? If it is queer in society, some of them call themselves queer, then we need to find a way of treating them just like we would treat malaria. It's a psychological thing, it's a psychiatric thing. Why can't the world rather find antidotes, answers to these, and treat them for them to be normal? But rather we say it's human rights. Then, as I'm saying, very soon, even armed robbers will demand human rights.
He sees no problem with the president assenting to the bill if eventually passed.
Let's hope this time our president knows that that's the feeling of Ghanaians. It's a bill from parliament. But I strongly suspect that if our voices are strong, it is the people's voice. I don't think the president would. I think he does that at his own detriment.
Let's do some other stories now on News 360. And trustees of a National Cathedral project have expressed shock at the negative reactions that have greeted the announcement of a fundraising scheme to support the project. The announcement of a fundraising drive by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta in the mid-year budget review has been generally criticized by some Ghanaians. But the Executive Secretary of a Cathedral project, Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, tells TV3 it is just one of many fundraising ideas they would roll out.
The response by a section of Ghanaians that the Cathedral project is the vain ambition of one person, the president, has shocked the Executive Secretary of the Trustees of the National Cathedral project, Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah.
She came and said, look, Ethiopians, my colleagues, the church members are asking that they want to contribute. How do they do it? And so the 100 Club initiative is really aimed at opening up the fundraising to as many Ghanaians. So it's not an autonomous decision statement made independent of the Secretariat of the Cathedral. What the Finance Minister said was actually completely taken, it was almost like nobody listened to it or they didn't even read the budget. So obviously I had to send what was in the budget statement to friends. And I think that's a bit worrying. That somehow, I don't know whether we've been programmed to listen to certain messages certain ways. If it is, then it is worrying as a country.
The trustees have their work cut out for them to meet the project completion timeline of Independence Day of March 6, 2024. But Dr. Opoku-Mensah believes the idea to have all-inclusive support from Ghanaians will engender change in the current views, so the public feel a part of the construction of a national monument, which serves all, not just a religious denomination.
That we have to create other spaces for building cohesion. And in fact, the Supreme Court, speaking to the cathedral issue, talked about the fact that it will allow us to really provide a space for cohesion. So if you can have half of the 70% using the place, that half will not belong to just one political party or one region. And so that these spaces become, and after some time, see the whole identity of the nation really evolves through these rituals and these meeting places.
He says there are other fundraising sources the trustees will be considering.
Plans advance, the churches are discussing on the possibility of a National Cathedral Week, where there will be activities, and then the Sunday will be offerings for the Cathedral project. There's a second part where churches give almost like budgetary allocations to the Cathedral. We have the first church to start this was actually Rich, the present church. They give every quarter. We have individuals who give us about 10,000 every month. We've launched what we have termed a business roundtable. We launched it in Kumasi, and the Kumasi chapter of the cathedral is really going to lead that initiative. That is aimed and targeted at the business community. External fundraising, first Ghanaians in the diaspora, but really the high net worth Christian donors who really traditionally, historically give to projects like this.
You recall early this week, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister announced a donation of some impounded rosewood species towards the construction of a national cathedral. Well, the Busa South MP, Dr. Clementa Park, disagrees with government's decision to donate the rosewood species towards the construction of a cathedral. He's advocating the use of a seized rosewood species for constructing some furniture for pupils from kindergarten to senior high schools in source communities where these rosewood species are grown. So subsequently, we'll be getting more views of this.
Let's now go to the presidency, where President Akufo-Addo has admonished African governments to build robust financial compliance systems and ensure strict enforcement of the systems. He was speaking at the EBII Africa Investments Risk and Compliance Summit at the University of Oxford.
We have all agreed that for Africa to be able to transform herself and become the epitome of economic empowerment and self-reliance, she needs to have the wherewithal to be able to protect and optimize the resources at her disposal. Hence the need to build robust financial compliance systems and ensure strict enforcement of these systems. And the reason for this is that financial crime has over the past 30 years become a major concern for governments around the globe, as it represents a significant threat to the development and stability of the economies of countries around the world. I believe it is fair to say that we have been, quote, emerging, unquote, for long enough for us to be treated with the same rules that apply in the so-called old markets. Recent experience has shown that financial crises and scandals do not happen only in emerging markets. When rules are flouted, the consequences are dire, even for the most established of institutions. The lesson is clear. There must be rules, and they must be obeyed.
I want the world to know that having a disability sibling is not a curse, but rather a blessing. These are the words of 8-year-old Jojo Tieboa, who is determined to stop the stigma against children living with special needs. My colleague Portia Gaba reports Jojo wants Ghanaians to show love and empathy to children living with disability.
Having a child with special needs could be overwhelming for many parents. There is, however, an 8-year-old boy who is doing all he can to show love and empathy to his sister who has cerebral palsy. Let's meet Jojo.
My name is Jojo Tieboa. Miss, I want you to meet my special sister. Follow me. And please, he's awake.
Okay, bring her. Meet 8-year-old Jojo Otieboa. He tells me his sister Ayeyi, who has cerebral palsy, is his best friend. What can you tell us about your sister?
She has cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a congenital disorder that affects movement. She was born preterm and then she had neonatal jaundice on the 3rd day. The jaundice climbed to her brain. That's why she can't control her body.
Jojo is his mother's helping hand. Ayeyi cannot walk, talk, or play with him, so he's determined to help her live a normal life like any other kid. He plays with her, talks to her.
Did you sleep well? Talk to me.
And even reads her science books with her, hoping she would understand.
A mixture of water and sand is called solid liquid mixture. Did you understand? Okay. You can't do anything by yourself.
And how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel sad and unhappy.
What do you wish for her?
I wish she was walking and doing everything just like normal human beings do.
Ayeyi's mom narrates how her 7-year-old daughter had cerebral palsy.
Ayeyi was born preterm at 6 months, 1 week. I realized she was a little jaundiced. Nothing was done about it. The next day, the doctors came, mother and baby fine, discharged. There was no, my daughter is yellow, she had neonatal jaundice. By the time the doctor turned, realized they were like doing everything fast to put her under the light. Finally, we got to Kolebu. They did exchange blood transfusion for her. Kolebu did their best, but this is how it ended up.
She regrets stigma and discrimination she suffered as a mother of a child with disability.
I was a Sunday school teacher in one church I don't want to mention, and if they see me with Ayeyi there, then that day their children are not coming for Sunday school. They would all take their children to adult service. It wasn't easy. We stopped church for about 2 years because of the stigma in the church. You sit in a trotro and they sit by you, they see her and everybody gets away. You have to pay for 3.
Actually, I was sad. Why me? Then I told myself, then who? So I have to accept it.
But hope is not lost. In most circumstances where fathers shy away from taking care of their wards with disability, Ayeyi's father chose to stay with his family.
A friend of mine once asked, why won't you run away from this family? I said, no, if there's something that has made me stay in this marriage, then it's because I do virtually everything for her. I sleep with her, I play with her, and she's been my best friend since from day one. Yeah, and I think we are okay. Just that there are these ups and downs. There are times that you feel down. You only have a little money on you and you need to spend on her medication and stuff. But we are still there. No, I always love you, and I always love you, and you always be my best friend. Oh.
Enumerated some challenges having to take care of a child with special needs. For the Otieboa family, they have vowed to continue to show love to Ayeyi. Jojo wants to be given a platform to educate the public on the need to accept children living with disability.
Hello everybody. You see, cerebral palsy is not contagious. See, I kissed my sister. Do I have it? No. Learn to love people with special needs. Thank you.
They had one message to Ghanaians, that is to stop the stigma and discrimination against persons living with disability. Portia Gabo, TV3 News, Accra.
Very emotional one.
Extremely.
There. Yes.
And the Otieboa family have my greatest respect, you know, for going all out for their own this way. I think it's a lesson all of us should learn, not to stigmatize and discriminate against people who have certain conditions.
As Jojo rightly said, you know, we need to show a lot more compassion to our brothers and sisters out there.
It's a hard one. You're still watching News 360 with me, Komla Adom, and Aisha Yakubu Hale. Do have more stories if you stay with us.
Zuzum, right here in my house. Hey.
Look up there. Why are you using inferior pen?
It was a mistake. I no check.
Acrobat, I'm going to knock you out.
I know, sir.
You deserve quality.
Don't make mistakes. Stop.
You did the right thing.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me champion.
Every time your children are falling sick, you don't have money.
Stop, everyone. Baby. What's the TV for tonight? You know I like that sweet scented insecticide spray. You know, little bit of pot. Let me help you to living room. That's what you do. We love you, baby. Of course, I take very good care of my wife and children, so I always win. Saga Walata. If you want to protect your family against mosquito, there's still this sweet scented perfume coil now. Repelling mosquitoes. And the spray also sweet scented. It kills all crawling and flying insects. Heaven insecticides. Oh, prevention is always better than Maunsanka or heaven insecticides me. And in the coil, you say heaven dear.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
And then road as you see school. Oh, wait, you're on the back of the music. Saying about that phone cash. What is any insurance? A bomb over my future son. And no one is a working phone. What are the star forces to hash? No register. Get me the star. So the star forces to hash. Now register. No one chase can do our person this year or something. If you turn Ghana airport, what science in your life insurance? Over my future. Accident. And also what to my future bebo. Sika ketu every to say true Ghana cities. I would back out savings. Any of my future idea, ayo. My future Bama me no me. For phone, never star 462 hash. I will Vodafone so never come home. My future. Obini watch now 70. Fabisi. Vodafone so want to my future, my life, and Millennium Insurance, and an umbrella.
I love football. Football can be a dirty game, on or off the pitch. Even when I'm trying to score at a party, stains find a way of tracking me down. But I don't worry at all, because I have Cleasoft. Use new Cleasoft 360 Deep Clean, a unique formula with active ingredients and enzymes that gets rid of all stubborn stains and leaves your clothes smelling wonderful.
Cleasoft, my favorite.
Cleasoft 360 Deep Clean, clean up.
Welcome wherever you are on Planet Football.
You can go anywhere in the world, but nobody feels football like we do.
And they sing, they dare to sing.
It's a rhythm.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Football. La football.
Soccer. 1, 2.
That moves us.
It's so nice, it's so nice.
Nothing compares to DSTV's unbeatable football offering, so stay connected to watch the best football on the planet.
Whenever Princess starts, the neighbors do complain that her voice and the beats are too loud. Who's scared of the voices of tomorrow's superstars?
You were special in your way. It's me, like no other. No one else can do it like you. It's me.
Must be a neighbor.
You special in your way. It's me, like no other. No one else can do it like you. It's me, like no other.
Here's to all amazing moms who identify and nurture the uniqueness in our kids.
Indomie instant noodles tastes great. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back. In more news this evening, COP Dr. George Ekufu Dampare assumes office as acting IGP from today, August 1. And former Greater Accra Regional Minister Joseph Nila Yafutiagbo expects him to consult his predecessors for expert advice in order to succeed. He spoke to my colleague, George Craney.
Before his appointment as acting IGP, COP George Ekufu Dampare served as Director General in charge of administration. Former Greater Accra Regional Minister Joseph Nila Yafutiagbo worked with COP Dr. George Ekufu Dampare under the late former President John Evans Atta Mills when he was Regional Police Commander.
Knowing him as an individual, he knows what the law says. He believes in rule of law. And if you consult some of people who have been in leadership positions, some people who have gone through his position, whatever intentions, whatever wisdom that he has in his mind, they adding up to it of what they have becomes extraordinary.
He expects him to consult his predecessors for expert advice to succeed.
He looks very young, so you have more years to be in that position. He shouldn't allow the position to just get into his head and then just take him out of his path. He should stand on his feet as I've known him. He should be himself as I've known him, because there should be life after having position. Because when you come out of your position, you should be able to live with people freely.
One of the major achievements of the youngest IGP is its lead to the arrest of suspected killers of a Buakwa North MP, J.B. Dankwa Edu.
Meanwhile, a former Inspector General of Police, Patrick Kwatinye Champon, says the military's intervention during public order management will continue unless a different orientation is given to the police. He maintained the internal security arrangement is statutory, adding that what is essential is for the state to adopt best practices.
The other time I heard somebody on some station saying that the soldiers who went there, they should have been holding riot control gear. You don't see it on your radio, you don't find out what is happening in terms of training and preparation of our people for public order. If something happens in the US, you know, the military is there, but the first people that will come are the National Guard. The National Guard, apart from being reserve service for the military, they are also trained for public order duties. And then when they are coming, it's not just that they are just coming from their homes. So if you want the military to offer the support that is on paper, then you have to train a group of the military to do those public order duties. But if we don't give them that training, and their duty is to do battle, and the internal security system has been there since before and after independence, that when the police cannot cope, the military will come in. But when they are coming in, we, the people of Ghana, what have we given to them to come in with? It's the guns that they have. If you train them well with public order equipment to come and do internal security support, they will do it. So please, don't wait for things to happen and they say this man should do this man should do that.
Now, over 300,000 residents in 265 communities in the 5 regions of the North have benefited from a $20 million grant from the United Nations Water, Sanitation and Hygiene for Disaster-Prone Communities program for the provision of water supply systems and hand-washing facilities. The 3-year program was designed to provide flood-resilient wash system to increase access to good drinking water and proper sanitation.
The Northern, Savannah, Northeast, Upper East and Upper West regions have for the past decade been experiencing flooding anytime the Barre Dam in Burkina Faso is spilled. The devastation caused has over the years rendered many residents homeless while denying them access to potable drinking water and good sanitation as well as personal hygiene. Schools and healthcare facilities in beneficiary communities were assisted through a joint program being implemented by the UN Habitat, UNDP, UNICEF and WHO. Over 300,000 residents in 265 communities in the Northern, Savannah, Northeast, Upper East and Upper West regions benefited. The development officer at the Canadian High Commission in Ghana, Eric Chimsey, noted 659 interventions, including the development of 169 new water points and 396 existing facilities were rehabilitated.
The government of Ghana, through its agencies responsible for water and sanitation, will adopt the flood resilient wash designs created by our UN partners for replication in other flood-prone areas.
On sanitation, he revealed 271 DPC toilets have been generated through community-led total sanitation. The acting resident coordinator of the UN systems, Ni Ojualape, called on the beneficiaries to make good use of the facilities while imploring other organizations to follow suit.
The project has 224 flood-resilient institutional toilets constructed, and all the 224 schools where these were constructed were supported to establish facility management plans.
The Savannah Regional Director of Environmental Health and Sanitation, Adam Wahab, called for concerted efforts to improve sanitation practices.
Our political discourse, our political landscape is making it very difficult for department to be able to execute, successfully.
You're still watching News 360 here on TV3. After the break, my colleague Aniela Alote will join us with the latest in the world of sports, including Ghana's representative who has won a medal at the ongoing Olympic Games. Please stay with us.
Phantom X, new Elise flagship. Be bold, be extraordinary.
The show was a jar oba and dim.
The groom is sick.
What?
Malaria.
Malaria. Lufat. Lufat.
In Jija, we malaria and kawan to them. Lufat, a malaria drop a cope.
And now you may kiss the bride.
Enters Pharmaceuticals and Research Center. And I Lufat. Lufat, a two malaria sententem. FDA, I shall a day cratway ajatum say.
Mama, Mama.
Me, no.
And I can't stand it.
Just a moment.
And now power, huh?
Yeah!
Oh, yeah, Jack Macron, no more. It's your channel, Cassidy. Harry, you contumre. What a clean tomato sauce, I want to be. And a pasadine for box with salad, yeah. I will stew. And a jollofa. Never to the one. That don't know it though. Or to that. And the ball of ya, or meant to bunny a doa. You want a pass sauce? Check for you, sir. Oh, more tasty. And a pop big beans for the breakfast. Let's all a salad in the round. Oh, she and a patuna. We can puffle. Let's all a salad in the round. Oh, taste good. And a pan on dairy creamer. 4 box with so kinsey oats, na cremitino. You and a past spaghetti. Talia Papa B. Mansunin Sijadu Re. Nafa and a spaghetti the goo. Who and a pataliano are you ready for watching? On you with you. So I no pa no so good.
Whenever Princess starts, the neighbors do complain that her voice and the beats are too loud. Who is scared of the voices of tomorrow's superstars?
You special in your way. It's me, like no other. No one else can do it like you. It's me. I can sing. I can dance. I'm talented. I can draw. I can be myself.
That must be a neighbor.
The uniqueness in our kids. Indomie instant noodles tastes great. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back. This is still News 360. Before Aniela joins us with the latest from the world of sports news just coming in, there's been a major shake-up within the Ghana Police Service in terms of the regional command positions as well as some of the directorate positions of the Ghana Police Service. And I'll quickly run through some of the names that have come up and the movements that have occasioned as a result of this particular shake-up in the Ghana Police Service. And you know that this is taking effect a day that the IGP, acting IGP, is taking over as Inspector General of Police. So we have DCOP Mr. Francis Agrippa Upong. He is a director in charge of the unit and headquarters, now moved to Director Pensions. That's according to the news shake-up. We also have ACP Barnabas Nambong Nasuma. He's also now to head the IRD headquarters. There's also ACP Isaac Asante. He is to head the Director of Operations Command in the Ashanti region. There's also ACP Joseph Owusu-Ansah. He's been moved to Ashaiman Division, that's the Tamale area. There's also ACP Kwesi Fori. He's also been moved. Let me just quickly bring you that. ACP Kwesi Fori, you know that he was the Accra Region Operations Commander of the Ghana Police Service. ACP Kwesi Fori has now been moved. He's now the Director General in charge of PAD. And so if you stay with us, subsequently we'll bring you all the breakdown. Of course, you can log on to 3news.com and on all our social media platforms. You have all those details for you. Time now for sports. And Aniela, I know that there is an ongoing FA Cup game. We also know that one had already been played.
Definitely. So the first game that we had was the Ashanti Gold Brekum Chelsea, and that game at 90 minutes it was a 1-1 draw. But the real game changer came in extra time. And Ashanti Gold, the Elephants, they crumpled. Honestly, they trampled upon Brekum Chelsea, and the result ended in 4-1. It means that Ashanti Gold are through to the final. But the game that you were talking about, that is Accra Hearts of Oak, the current Premier League title holders. They went up against Midiama, and it's halftime currently. But Benjamin Afutukote, he utilized the cross from Isaac Mensah, and then he found a very powerful header in. So it's Hearts of Oak 1, Midiama 0. But you know, the game is not over, so let's just see if Hearts of Oak can do it. Definitely. So we move on to some other stories, and this is the Olympics. We're talking about Ghanaian amateur boxer Samuel Techi has won his Olympic quarterfinal to guarantee himself a medal at Tokyo 2020, a first Olympic medal for a Ghanaian athlete in 29 years.
But not too much happy because the competition have not ended, and I've already told Ghanaians I'm going to bring a good medal, and God have let me enter into the medal zone, so they should keep on praying for me. I'm going to make it there and go to the final, and we'll look what God will do, but they should keep on also supporting me, and I'll bring the good in Ghana.
It's a success for all of us. We worked for it, and it has happened. It is not over yet. We want to try our best to be able to change the color of the medal. So we've not given up yet. We work very hard on it to make sure that we'll be able to improve upon it.
Ghanaians believe it is Samuel Techi's time. Techi himself has his eye on the prize, and the people of Bukom, who know the young man so well, were beyond elated as they sang songs of hope, praise, and faith in the abilities of the 20-year-old.
You are seeing the warrior in him. You are seeing it. The ring is for him. So he knows how to control the ring. If you are going to war and you are not a leader, how can you win? Going to bring gold. Yes. He's a monster. He know what he can do. Anytime he step on the ring, he know what he can do. He know what he can prove. So he's a champ. I feel him forever. That's my man, bro. That's my man, bro.
Our brother made a promise to us, and we believe in him. He made a very, very strong promise to us that he's going to bring the actually gold of Olympics to here in our gym.
Humble, understanding. So I know that my boxer will bring good to Ghana. He normally tell me that, coach, can't think a good Baba. Sure, a good Baba very soon.
You are so proud. The way you are so proud, God will help you too. You are going to bring the good ready. I know he can do more better than what he's doing. I know by all means he's going to bring the good to Ghana.
Born to an African-American father and an Italian mother, Italy's Lamont Marcel Jacobs is the first Italian man to claim gold in the Olympic. In international news, Myanmar's military ruler Min Aung Hlaing has taken on the role of Prime Minister in a newly formed caretaker government. Now, this comes 6 months after the army seized power from a civilian government. In his speech on Sunday, he repeated a pledge to hold elections by 2023 and said his administration was ready to work with a future regional envoy on Myanmar.
Time now for entertainment.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Puma Drinks.
In entertainment, 30,000 small and medium enterprises in the tourism sector will be trained within the next 3 years. The sector minister, Dr. Ibrahim Mohamed Awal, who made this known at the 3rd Africa Youth in Tourism Innovation Summit and Challenge in Accra, noted government will provide trainee SMEs with about 120 million cedis as seed capital.
Very educative, a lot of information to chew on, and above all, a platform for us to network.
Organized by the Ghana Tourism Authority under the auspices of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture in collaboration with African tourism partners and the United Nations World Tourism Organization. The 3rd edition of the Africa Youth in Tourism Innovation Summit and Challenge empowered hundreds of youth in the tourism sector the opportunities to take up responsibility and leadership roles in tourism.
Choose who are you hanging around with. If you are an entrepreneur and your friends are slay queen girl, they got this language, and you hang around with them, you don't talk the same language. You get my point. They're also going to discourage you. This is where sometimes you don't understand where you get this. It's a pull-down syndrome. To
unlocking the continent's tourism full potentials, stakeholders underscored the need to equip and cultivate the talent of future generations.
But we need to help people to gain new skills on technology, skills on big data, skills on how to measure and how to deal with artificial intelligence. But on the other side, to deal with humanities, because This is the more human economic sector. So, of course, we need a hybrid model between bringing leaders full of commitment, of communication skills, on political skills, but on the other side, we need hard skills as well. And that combination will help us to create a high-level economic sector.
Sector Minister Dr. Ibrahim Mohamed Awal noted mentorship and maximizing opportunities are some key tools that will help advance the continent's tourism to its utmost heights. The three-day summit was on the theme Empowering African Youth in Tourism through Innovation, Education and Investment in a Changed World.
And with this summit, it has helped us a lot. We've gotten innovative ideas, and also we get to meet people from different agencies to boost tourism industry, to make people know that tourism is a very big industry.
So that's it for entertainment, and that will be our package for tonight here on News 360. But just a recap of that story just coming through. We have a shake-up in the Ghana Police Service. We have DSP Ifya Tenge, who now used to be the Director of Public Affairs, Accra region, has been moved now to the Volta region. There's also DSP Juliana Obeng, who until now was the Director of Public Affairs in charge of a CID headquarters, has now been moved to the Ashanti region Public Affairs Directorates, as well as ACP Kwesi Fori, who used to be the Accra region Operations Commander, is now the Director General of the Public Affairs Directorate of the Police Service. So there's more news when you log on to 3news.com. I am Komla Adom.
My name is Aisha Yakubu Halik. Up next is Ghana's Most Beautiful. Enjoy.